Hello everyone, it's Old Guardian here. Scholomance Academy reveal season is underway and I have a batch of 10 new cards to review today. And there's a lot of interesting stuff coming with all these dual class cards and new types of things that can happen. And what can Demon Hunter do? What? Let's take a look. First of all, we have the new Paladin and Warrior dual class card, the Ceremonial Maul, a 3-mana 2/2 weapon with spell burst. Summon is stunned with taunt and stats equal to the spell's cost. So this closely resembles the old Paladin Spirit minion, and that wasn't really good. It didn't see any play. So is this any good? There are some upsides to this one. First of all, it's a weapon, so you play this and you can use it to remove something from the board, and you still have it afterwards. Spell burst, remember, spell burst activates once when you cast the first spell after you have equipped the weapon. So you can freely use the first durability point of the weapon, and then you can do the spell burst later, and you won't get any additional spell bursts even if you had more durability left in the weapon. So this could be used, this could bring some sort of big Paladin, big Warrior style teams into the game. Stuff like Dimensional Repair, even stuff like Brawl, or for Paladin stuff like Duel. Duel summons a minion from each player's deck they fight. If you have a Ceremonial Maul, you're able to use that to control the board a little bit first, then you play Duel, you get some big minion from your deck, and you get a 5/5 minion taunt. Which is really important because both the ability of the weapon to hit into something and the fact that the minion has taunt, they might help you stabilize a little bit. Do I expect this to see play in any top tier decks? No, I do not. I think it's an off-meta card, but there are some interesting synergies, so maybe some kind of low tier deck could be put together with these tools. Who knows? Then there's a new Shaman card, Totem Goliath, 5-mana 4/5 Totem. Death Rattle, summon all 4 basic totems, Overload 2. Alright, so Totem Shaman is interested in this card. There is also a wild card that summons Alakir the Windlord if you have all 4 basic totems, but maybe that will be too much of a meme. But thinking in standard, alright, yeah, I could see myself playing this in Totem Shaman. Then I have those totem buff spells and Totemic Reflection. I could even Totemic Reflection the Totem Goliath if it lives for a turn, so then I would have a lot of basic totems coming. Seems like a decent card to me. And then the Demon Hunter. What can Demon Hunter do? Like what? Just look at these cards. Well, maybe not so much on Mage Hunter. We can talk about that one first. Mage Hunter, 3-mana 2/3 rush. Whenever this attacks a minion, silence it. Alright. I think Consume Magic is just better. It's a cantrip that silences stuff. If you try to silence something, how often is your 2/3 going to kill it or survive through that? It is specifically pretty good against Edwin, funnily enough, because it attacks into Edwin, Edwin becomes a 2/2, so it kills the Edwin and it lives. So Demon Hunter answer to Edwin, don't get high rolled by a rogue. You're playing Demon Hunter, just play this. But I'm not sure whether Mage Hunter is actually a card that is good enough to see play. Then the other two, the Hand Disruption tools. Some people are interpreting that these cards are going to help control Demon Hunter, but I don't think they will. I tried to approach them from that angle, like Glide. Shuffle your hand into your deck, draw 4 cards, outcast your opponent does the same. You play control deck, you draw lots of cards, you have a lot of cards in hand. Glide can help you delay your fatigue when you play it. Remember that if you're playing control deck, the outcast effect is almost impossible to activate. Outcast is really, really hard to activate for any other than a tempo deck. So, for the most part, if you're playing control deck, you would just put some cards away and then you would have fewer cards, so you would have more time in fatigue. Something like that doesn't sound too interesting to me. But then when you start to think about these as tempo deck tools, well, Glide, your opponent, the Warlock or Priest, is sitting with 9 cards in hand. Ha 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 ha, I have so many answers, yes I do. And then you Glide. And then they put those cards in their deck and they only draw 4 in return. So they have just lost a bunch of that card advantage that they had built. Okay, that sounds reasonable. Or the Star Student Stelina, 4-mana 4/3. Outcast, look at 3 cards in your opponent's hand, shuffle one of them into their deck. It can like delay combos, but what it can do is you're smacking that priest in the dome, and then the priest is sitting there, ha 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 ha, I'm going to play a Soul Mirror on you next turn. And then you play Star Student Stelina, and then you look at 3 cards and you say, hey, you have Soul Mirror in hand. I don't like that, put that back in your deck. then the priest like, oh noes. That's going to be super annoying card to play against. But I'm not sure whether it's really strong enough. Is Glide strong enough? These sorts of hand disruption tools are quite difficult to evaluate. We don't have much experience with hand disruption in Hearthstone. But the way I see these cards working is that they're going to be used in tempo decks, they're going to be used to disrupt the opponent so that you get to keep your tempo advantage and just kill them. So all the talk about, hey, we want to enable slower archetypes for Demon Hunter, I don't see these cards doing that. I see them doing the exact opposite. Then there is a Demon Hunter Warlock dual class card, Philosophy. 1 mana, copy the lowest cost demon in your hand. Outcast give both +1/+1. The two cards that came to my mind when I saw this card were Macteridon and Imprisoned Scrap Imp. So you copy some Imprisoned Scrap Imps and then you have even more Scrap Imps, but maybe a little slow. Or would it fit into some kind of a zoo deck? I mean, you have Flame Imps, you have Voidwalkers. Making copies of any of that stuff, giving them +1/+1 gives you a bunch of tempo. Good workout. Or I love playing with Macteridon. Macteridon is so much fun to play with. So you make a copy of Macteridon, then you have 2 Macteridons in your hand. You play the first Macteridon, haha, you kill those wardens, and then haha, you free Macteridon. And then the opponent deals with Macteridon, and then you play your second Macteridon and say, haha, I'm going to play more Macteridons. So that's what I would really want to do with this card. But we'll see how it ends up working out. There's also some potential synergy with Canretard upon lock. Canretard Prime is a demon if you play some sort of big demon archetype. Once you draw Canretard Prime, you play Philosophy and you have 2 Canretard Primes. In my current versions I'm doing that stuff with Satravar. Could it be done with Philosophy? I don't know. Maybe Satravar is still better though. So there are a bunch of interesting ways that this card can be used, but it's difficult to evaluate its exact strength yet. Then we have a new Warrior Epic Playmaker. 3 mana 4/3. After you play a rush minion, summon a copy of it with 1 health remaining. Well, obviously Playmaker Restless Mummy is the immediate combo that comes to mind. 7 mana, and you get 2 of these 3 damage rush reborns. So 3 + 3 + 3 + 3, that's 12 damage to the board and leaves you still with a 4/3 up that has to be dealt with. Or you threaten to play more of that stuff next turn, or with Kargat Blade Fist. Then you get another Kargat Blade Fist, and then you have 2 Kargat Primes in your deck. But it just feels really, really slow. Obviously, whenever you can get stuff for free, that's potentially powerful. But this is not going to stay alive on the board for a turn. So you have to play this together with that rush minion. And the combos that you start to get really mostly come alive a little bit later in the game. Is that going to be useful? I'm not at all certain that it is. We also got the new Warlock legendary card, the Archwitch Willow. 9 mana 7/7 with Battle Cry, summon a random demon from your hand and deck. So obviously this card would go well with the big demon archetype, which mainly rides on enhanced Dreadlords. 8 mana 5/7 Demon Taunt, Tetrel summon a 5/5 Dreadlord with Lifesteal, and then Canretard upon lock. There is anti-synergy once you have Canretard Prime in your deck though. So if you have Canretard Prime in your deck, well, we'll always might summon that one and then you don't get the Battlecry effect. You really don't want that to happen. Also, with my current build going with Satravar and Canretard, doesn't work well with that, could end up summoning Satravar. But with the new Philosophy card, you could use Philosophy to then make copies of the Canretard Prime eventually, which would enable you to play the Archwitch. Is it strong enough? It's still really, really slow, so it just might be too slow anyway, even for that slower control big demons archetype. Then we have Penflinger, 1 mana 1/1, Battlecry deal 1 damage, Spellburst, return this to your hand. So obviously the thing is, can you combo with this? But this one always costs 1, this one doesn't cost 0. So if you do like Penflinger coin, Penflinger coin, Penflinger coin, Penflinger coin, get some Umbral Skulkers or something so it gives you coins, you can just keep bouncing it back to your hand and dealing that 1 damage. Or would you put this in some kind of Cyclone Mage deck, then you can pretty often just play some spells and this one just You deal like 1 damage, 2 damage, 3 damage per turn with this alongside some other spells. Maybe there's something to that, but I can't find a clear good combo with this, at least at the moment. Then we have a Rogue Warrior dual class card, Dr. Krastinov. 5 mana 4/4 rush. Whenever this attacks, give your weapon +1/+1. So very comparable in some ways to Captain Greenskin, 5 mana 5/4 pirate. Battlecry, give your weapon +1/+1. Except that Captain Greenskin is passive, but it survives, whereas Krastinov removes something but probably dies. I think Krastinov is likely the better card of these two, with the exception of that pirate tag. If you need the pirate tag for something, Greenskin could be better. So now that we're getting this sort of weapon teams and weapon synergies, the main thing that I'm thinking about is this going to make quests good? Rogue quest? Warrior quest? Buffing up the weapons, attacking, then warrior summoning stuff, rogue just making bigger weapon, that is then the rogue is immune while wielding it. There are some interesting things, and I think it will really... I need to see more cards. I just need to see what's the whole package. But I'm really interested in putting together quest decks for both of these classes with heavy focus on the weapon synergies. That was all of the new cards that have been revealed in the past day. Lots of interesting stuff coming. The dual class cards definitely going to cause a bit of a rumble here, and then the Demon Hunter, lots of hand disruption, going to be so annoying to play against if those find home in the meta. Yeah, we'll see how it goes. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the show, please click the like button and subscribe to my channel for more.